According to a well-known Italian publication, Adrian Newey has determined which team he wants to commit his future to after leaving Red Bull Racing. The 65-year-old car designer will leave the Red Bull squad in early summer 2025 and has been connected with nearly every team on the circuit as curiosity over his future persists. Adrian Newey has picked Aston Martin. While Newey has stated that he intends to take a break from F1 when he leaves Red Bull next year, he is currently on soft gardening leave while continuing to work for Red Bull to make the RB17 hypercar a reality, having taken a step back from the F1 side of the operation. The most persistent of these rumors have been about Ferrari and Aston Martin. The Scuderia symbolizes a mythological task for everyone who works in Formula One, and it is one of the few significant teams Newey has never worked for. Aston Martin has been going through a transitional period in recent years, with billionaire team owner Lawrence Stroll transforming the resources, facilities, and infrastructure available to the former Jordan Force India squad, and the Silverstone-based squad now has the ability to offer Newey everything he needs if he wants to take on the challenge of helping the upper midfield team become title contenders. According to the Italian website Autosprint, Newey has picked this challenge specifically. According to a report in the magazine published on Thursday, Newey has chosen to stay with a UK-based team rather than relocate to Italy to immerse himself in Ferrari's very different milieu. Curiously, this corresponds to what Amazon and former BBC presenter Jeremy Clarkson told Dutch television channel Viaplay during the British Grand Prix weekend. Appearing on the grid at Silverstone, the Clarkson's farm and the Grand Tour actor revealed to Viaplay that he is now looking at properties in Oxfordshire. Do you want an exclusive? I know Adrian Newey is house hunting in Oxfordshire, not Maranello, Clarkson said. While Clarkson's statements should be taken with a grain of salt, he does have a long-standing friendship with Newey, dating back to their days as students at Repton Public School. The publication reports that the agreement will be announced at the beginning of September because until August, all contractual ties between the designer and Red Bull prevent any type of communication that is not linked to their employment relationship. According to Autosprint, Newey was offered $100 million for a 4-year contract and was influenced by his visit to the Silverstone factory. Newey reportedly visited the factory in early June, with all personnel being sent away to enable for the secret visit. Newey is thought to have been persuaded by Stroll's vision for the team and the elements that have been put in place at Silverstone, notably the switch to an exclusive Honda power unit supply, as the Japanese company transitions from Red Bull for the new regulations in 2026. If the report is correct, the move will not be made official until after the summer vacation, but until then, Aston Martin continues to keep its figurative cards close to its chest. The Aston Martin Aramco F1 team is a very appealing project with Lawrence Stroll's vision, a state-of-the-art new technology campus, and exciting partnerships with Aramco and Honda, a spokesperson told media. Many high-profile individuals across all areas of the team are linked to the project, but we don't have anything to announce. Aston Martin is targeting not only Adrian Newey, but also Max Verstappen, according to a report in a famous Italian journal. Following reports that Adrian Newey has chosen Aston Martin for his future F1 move after leaving Red Bull, Italian daily Autosprint alleges that team owner Lawrence Stroll is also in talks with Max Verstappen. Is Lawrence Stroll negotiating with Max Verstappen? Autosprint reported that Newey will join Aston Martin next year after leaving Red Bull, where he is now on short gardening leave as Chief Technological Officer. According to the article, Newey was influenced by a large cash offer from billionaire team owner Lawrence Stroll, which will allow him to continue working in the UK with a team that has seen tremendous investment and infrastructure facility improvements in recent years. According to Autosprint, Newey will be announced at Aston Martin in early September, but the report goes on to say that Stroll is hoping to entice Max Verstappen to join his team and that negotiations between the two parties have already begun with an eye toward 2026. Verstappen is under contract with Red Bull until 2028, but there has been speculation this year that the Dutch driver is considering a move to another team, with Mercedes' Toto Wolff making it clear that he is the preferred replacement for Lewis Hamilton when the 7-time F1 world champion departs for Ferrari. But if Verstappen doesn't see himself in Mercedes, could it be Aston Martin? Securing the services of Newey, who oversaw the designs of Verstappen's title-winning Red Bulls, would undoubtedly be a huge card for Stroll to play if such conversations take place. But he would also be reunited with former Red Bull Aero chief Dan Fallows, and, of course, Honda. The Japanese manufacturer, whose engines became F1's benchmark in 2021, just as the current engine freeze was implemented, will leave Red Bull's teams after 2025 to pursue an exclusive supply arrangement with Aston Martin. Verstappen has a good relationship with Honda and may find the prospect of continuing to race with their engines more appealing than the unproven potential of Red Bull powertrains, a project that Red Bull has launched for the upcoming regulation cycle. Lance Stroll will be moved to the WEC program to make way for Max Verstappen. Autosprint believes that these conversations are similar to those between Benetton and Ferrari in 1995, when Michael Schumacher, Ross Brawn, and Rory Byrne all left the world title team to join Maranello. If any of the reports are accurate, the main concern is what will happen to the existing drivers, Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. The suggestion is that Stroll be moved to the Aston Martin WEC program to drive the Valkyrie, a car designed by Red Bull and Aston Martin in collaboration with Newey as designer. According to Autosprint, negotiations between the two sides stalled a long time ago, and Ferrari was taken aback by Enrico Cardile's departure to Aston Martin, to the point where lawyers are intervening to argue over his gardening leave. Aston Martin had a poor start to the season, 25 points in the first 3 races. In an attempt to address things, their engineers introduced their first major, and most likely the biggest, overhaul to Japan. Aside from noticeable alterations to the side pod geometry, the most significant aspect of this package was the changes under the car and along the floorboarders. It is clear that the engineers do not have a clear picture of what is actually happening with the car, and every new update brings only more questions. On several occasions, the drivers have pointed out that the AMR 24 is very difficult to drive because its behavior is simply unpredictable. Consequently, it is almost impossible to consistently be on the edge, resulting in poorer performance. The problem they face is very complex, and although a lot of time has passed since the introduction of the new regulations, some teams are still trying to fully understand the concept. Too many technical factors must perfectly align for the floor to work efficiently. In Aston Martin's case, it is very strange that the team, which at one point last season was the biggest rival to Red Bull, now finds itself in this position. Given their form in the last 2 races, it seems things will not get better soon. The following race is the Dutch Grand Prix, which is quite challenging in terms of car balance. We have long corners of various varieties that do not suit the Aston Martin's present attributes. The following 2 races are in Monza and Azerbaijan, both of which require maximum speed. Of course, predicting a team's performance is impossible, but the data indicate that Aston Martin will be far from competing with the best teams. So, is Aston Martin really an alternative for Max Verstappen if he leaves Red Bull? If Adrian Newey chooses to postpone his vacation and take some more years in F1 alongside them, then Max can see a potential in them and their car. Let us know what you think in the comments down below.